So I want to talk to you about the nasolabial furrow, and I want to focus on 3 action units that have a profound effect on the nasolabial furrow. But first, I want to back up and say what a furrow is. A furrow is a fold or a crease that forms on the face, and we see this one here, the nasolabial, nose to lip furrow. This is a common area where you'll see deepening just in people's neutral faces. In some people, it's quite pronounced, or they might have a deep crease there. In others, it deepens when there are facial actions that pull this area. So if we lift up on the upper lip like this, you'll see a deepening of the nasolabial furrow. Why? Because this flesh right here is getting folded up in the pathway of the muscle, creating a mound which casts a shadow. A furrow is basically a shadow. So if you have people's faces lit well enough, you don't see any of them. For FACS, we need to see some shadows. So let me demonstrate each of these AUs. Action Unit 9 is known as the nose wrinkler, and it involves this strand of fibers right here, levator labii superioris aliquae nasi. This set of fibers runs along the length of the nose. It originates up here, and muscles always contract toward their origin. So as this contracts, these levers lift, if you will, shortening and folding up all that skin in its path, wrinkling the skin on the nose, like this. Notice that it lifts the upper lip, kind of scrunches the nose all up. There's a little pulling down of the brow that has to do with this interleaving with the procerus muscle. But if you look at the nasolabial furrow, you see it pulling right alongside the nose. The whole nose is lifted, the nostril wings are lifted, everything's lifted up, and you see a deepening of the nasolabial furrow that extends down this way. It's fairly straight. It may be a little fuller or not, depending on someone's face, how much fat they have, what their age is, etc. Okay, that's 9. It pulls right alongside the nose. 10 is this other branch of levator labii superioris, where you see it originates not near the root of the nose, but kind of under the eye in the socket there, and attaches down to the lip. And you'll see it's next to or adjacent to the set of fibers for 9, meaning it's not running alongside the nose, it's running right next to the nose, right here. So this is right here where 10 acts. And when it contracts, you see a lifting of the upper lip, a little adjacent to the nose, but not alongside it. And so there's a bend. It's not straight like with 9. It's a bend in the nasolabial furrow. And it's this bend in the nasolabial furrow that makes 10. That's one of the things that helps you discriminate 10 from 9. The other is that 9 has nose wrinkling usually, unless it's very, very, very slight. And 10 doesn't, because 10 doesn't touch the nose itself. 9, 10. Okay, now look at this set of fibers. This set of fibers that it originates along the eye socket, actually it's high up on the zygomatic arch, the beginning of the cheekbone, and it attaches a little bit further along the lip than 10 does. And you'll see here that when that contracts, it's going to be lifting on the lip a little bit obliquely, not vertically like 10 does. So with action unit 11, the contraction of zygomaticus minor, we see this, an oblique pulling on this area in the middle portion of the nasolabial furrow. So let's do them all, 9, 10, 11. One thing that's really important to keep in mind is that when I'm talking about these effects of each of these AUs on the nasolabial furrow, I'm talking about these effects when there's nothing else on the face. So there's no other action units that could be pulling in that region to create the changes in the way the nasolabial furrow looks. For example, if I have a 10 lifting the upper lip, it bends on the nasolabial furrow and it deepens to about here. But if I add a 15 to it, you'll see a deepening way further down than you would from a 10 by itself. 10, now 10 and 15. Cool.